ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वत्यदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नित्यानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानन्दप्रदायिने कलोकल्मषनाशाय जानवापते नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2 and verse number 57. So Lord Krishna is explaining the symptoms of a person who is situated in pure transcendental consciousness. So in the previous two verses, the first and foremost symptom Krishna mentioned, Rajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmani evatmana tushta sthita pragyas tadochyate. So when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, that means it is just a mental case. If one maintains any desire for sense gratification, this is a mental case. Mental case. Uh, So that's why a sane man, sane person, he should give up all this mental concoction. And when his mind thus purified finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Self alone means understanding oneself to be eternal servant of Krishna and then engaging in Krishna's service only. Understanding very well that my only object of service, object of love and attachment, affection is Krishna. So in this way, when one's consciousness, his mind is purified. So purification of mind means becoming free from the varieties of desire for sense gratification. So all varieties of desire for sense gratification, not just sinful desires for sense gratification, but so-called so-called acceptable desires for sense gratification. That is also actually sinful only. Yes, I'm not saying Bhagavad is saying it is. In morning Bhagavad class, we discuss this. What to speak of any activities, material activities, which certainly leads towards fulfillment of material desires. Even the activities which one does, avoiding the gross sense gratification, means austerities and penances. That is also sinful activity because that also leads you to go away from Krishna. समझ गया ना? हाँ. Austerities to control mind and senses. Huh? Austerities, just like brahmacharya, sannyas. So those who follow certain process so that they can remain a brahmachari. They can follow the principles of brahmacharya. So those processes which is devoid of Krishna consciousness, that is also a sinful activity. That is also means condemned, not proper. Because the goal of life is not to achieve something at this material bodily platform, whether good or bad. The goal of life is to achieve shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the ultimate goal of So that's why here it is said, Atmani eva santushta, Atmaneva Atmana tushta. Find satisfaction in the self alone. Self alone, Atmani refers to Atma, and Atma is never alone. It is always dependent upon the super self, supreme Lord. So satisfaction in self alone means satisfaction in Krishna only. That is, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. This is one verse. So when one who is situated in this consciousness, he remains anudvigna mana dukkheshu. One who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger is called a sage of steady mind. So this verse we discussed till now. So today's verse is verse number 57. यः सर्वत्रानिभिस्नेहस् तत्तत् प्राप्य शुभाशुभम् नाभिनिन्दन्ति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. यः सर्वत्र अनभिस्नेहस् तत्तत् प्राप्य शुभ अशुभम न अभिनंदति न द्वेष्टि tasya pragya pratisthita. So the meaning of this verse, if we just state in very short, the meaning is that the person is completely neutral to the this influence or effects of this material existence. Yeah, sarvatra means everywhere in all situations. Abhisneha, without any affection. Even if he is performing some kind of material activity, he is doing it without affection. Uh, just like Krishna told uh, that one should serve Krishna with priti purvaka, with affection. So on the other hand, only a person who can serve Krishna priti purvaka. In order to serve Krishna with affection, one has to become unabhisnehas towards anything else, without affection. So first, the one thing is to serve Krishna with affection, priti purvakam, and second thing which simultaneously goes is to serve any material duties in this world without affection, without priti. That means just like if a grahastha in grahastha ashram, uh, so he should serve his family, his wife, children, husband, without affection for them as their kinsmen, but understanding that they are Krishna's devotees, and so maintaining affection for Krishna, one should serve them very nice. So yeah, sarvatra anabhisnehas, one who is without affection, and tat tat prapya subha asubham, and whatever is achieved, whether subha, good, or asubham, evil, uh, and never na abhinandati, na dvesti. When something good comes in his life, he does not praise it. And when something evil comes, he is not hatred for this, envious, and he has no envy towards it. So tasya pragya pratishtita. He is known to be situated in perfect knowledge. Tasya pragya pratishtita. Pragya, pra plus gya. Gya means knowledge. Pra means prakrishupena gya. Perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge. And means realized knowledge. Yes. Such a person has realized this thing, knowledge of spiritual knowledge. Realizes, yes. Perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge means realized knowledge. The knowledge which we have, that is information. We know that I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, my duty is to serve Krishna. But we have not yet reached to that platform. But at least we are reading all these verses so that at least we can understand. हमको क्या प्राप्त करना है वो पता तो होना चाहिए. Illusion से तो बाहर आना चाहिए पहले. If you consider something, if you consider affection of this material world, that it is proper, it is okay, then we are in illusion. We have to understand that this is all not required. This is all obstacle. Till the time we maintain affection for anything of this world, for any object, any person, materially, affection if we maintain, then we are conditioned. We are still in the conditioned state. But second thing is one cannot remain without affection. Affection must be there because that is the nature of the soul. Uh, Affection must be there, but affection for Krishna only. Krishna and Krishna also nahi. Krishna only. So one has to one only a person who can develop affection for Krishna alone can become free from the affection for anything else of this material. Otherwise, it is not possible. So, if you want to become free from the attachment or affection for somebody, then you must put great endeavor and effort to develop affection and attachment for Krishna alone. Mam ekam saranam. So we should try to understand this. This is a fact. There is no alternative. If you think, oh, I'm feeling affection, attachment for certain thing, and I cannot achieve this, so I'm getting frustrated. So let me develop attachment, affection for something else. That is temporary. आसमान से गिरे खजूर में लटके समझ पा रहे हो? There are many people, they become frustrated because of some attachment, affection of in this material world, which they cannot get it. And even if somebody gets it, still he gets frustrated. So then they want to divert it towards something else. So for this purpose, some of them they try to engage themselves in certain activities. Somebody thinks that let me travel to so many places, I will forget. And somebody thinks let me take intoxication. So all this nonsense thing. So yeah, in order to avoid one attachment which causes one to get frustration in this material world, the person ends up in getting some other attachment which causes further frustration. So in this way, the person's life just goes on with the frustration of one object, one person in this material to another object, another person. So this is known as series of frustration. So till the time one ultimately uh, reaches to the platform of developing complete affection and attachment for Krishna alone, he cannot be freed from the frustration generated because of maintaining attachment for something else of this material. That's why अनअविस्नेह यह सर्वत्र अनअविस्नेह. So this word sarvatra is very important. Sarvatra means from all side of this material, from everyone else, everything else, from everywhere, anavisnehas. One should become free from affection or attachment, and and he should not praise the opportunities in his life which comes, which appears to be good, uh, so-called good, subha, prapta. When one gets a subha or auspicious or opportunities for comfortable living, opportunities for sense gratification. So he should not praise it, means he should not uh, hanker for it. He should not feel joy in obtaining such thing. And second thing is, when some difficulties comes, he should not develop hatredness to his envy. Such a person is known as that he is situated in perfect knowledge. So it's so clear here. Especially, यह सर्वत्र अनविस्नेह. So यह सर्वत्र अनविस्नेह. We should all just always remember this line at least. यह सर्वत्र अनविस्नेह. अनविस्नेह means no affection. Sarvatra. So only tasya pragya pratishtha. Only he can be known as a person having perfect knowledge, fully intelligent person. So there is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. So this material existence is made in such a manner that nobody can avoid situations, sometimes good situation, sometimes evil situation. It has to be there. One cannot become free from, one cannot, nobody can create only happy situation in his life. So there is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. So such a person is understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. So this is our goal. We have to reach to this stage. At least we should have this understanding. So as long as one is in the material world, there is always a possibility of good and evil because this world is full of duality. So as long as one is in this material world means as long as one has this material body made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So because of having this material body, one will certainly come across the dualities of this material existence. You will come across a situation where you will feel affection, attachment for somebody, and hatredness for somebody, something. This is the nature of this material existence. But one should try to become unagitated by those dualities. Then such a person is called as fixed in Krishna consciousness. So, in this material world, as long as one is in this material world, there is always the possibility of good and evil because this world is full of duality. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil because he is simply concerned with Krishna. This is the secret. If somebody wants to become free from duality, somebody wants to become unaffected by dualities of this material existence. And what is the greatest duality? Yes, what is the greatest duality? The greatest duality means happiness and distress, poor and rich, cold and heat, and respect and disrespect. These are all dualities. But all these dualities are centered around one prime, original duality, you can say. Uh, this this affection, attachment, and hatred. Don't say love and hate. Love. There is no love in this material world. Don't this contaminate this word love. Love or prem is a very pure term. It should not be used at all for something which is so rubbish and contaminated. Love. As soon as you say love, immediately all those contaminated things appear in the mind. Why? Because people of this world has misused this word love for expressing their lusty desires, lust, greed. They are using the word love, but love is something different, completely different. Love is only meant for Krishna, pure love. And what is the meaning of love? The person who has the love, he is not at all interested for his own sense gratification, his own happiness. He's not at all concerned about his own happiness. For him, uh, I may get the suffering, greatest kind of suffering. If it pleases Krishna, then that is all right. He is ready to accept. That is the sign of love. But in this material world, the duality exists is attachment, material attachment or material hatredness. And everything else is centered around this duality. All other dualities are centered around this duality. But the person who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by this kind of duality, means such kind of material attachment or affection and hatred is for somebody or attachment for somebody. Why? Although it may come in his life, it's not that a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness, he cannot experience it. He doesn't know this. He knows this because he is also having the material existence, material body, which is of course spiritualized because he is engaged in Krishna's consciousness services. But he feels just like a Krishna conscious devotee, he also feels thirsty. So he may drink water. He knows how to drink water. A Krishna conscious person, fully Krishna conscious person, uh, who is completely aloof from all material attachment, does it mean that he cannot feel hunger and thirst and sleepy? He feels, but he's not affected by this. What is the meaning of is not affected by? So although she may feel when the situation for some attachment arises in his life, some situation, suppose some situation comes in his life where he can see that, feel that, oh, I'm developing some attachment. He can experience, means he can know that this is attachment, but that is in his control. Why? It is written here because he is simply concerned with Krishna. Because his only concern is that I want to develop love and attachment only for Krishna. So as soon as he comes across any situation where his attachment is getting diverted or shifted towards something or somebody else other than Krishna conscious activity or Krishna himself, so then he is immediately alarmed. And what he does? He leaves the situation immediately. He just rejects it, no matter. Even to the point of disconnecting himself to his very most dear and near one. What to speak of anything else? Uh, who is our most dear and near one? Relatives, our relatives, and the closest relatives are parents, especially mother. Mother is closest relative, very near and dear one. So a person who is only concerned with Krishna means who has decided fully that I must develop attachment 100% in 100% sense only for Krishna. So then she gives up the attachment affection for closest relative, real near and dear one. Srila Prabhupada writes in second chapter, verse 14, purport that a person who is in grihasthas, especially he develops attachment for wife and children because parents they are gone, but at the end when he crosses 40, 50 years of age, so then in his life wife is there and children are there. So so it is very painstaking to take sannyas at that stage of life. It's not easy thing. If somebody is brahmachari, so for him attachment for parents remains for some time, but as soon as parents they are gone, they leave their body, then attachment goes away. Or if the person he leaves the association of his parents, family, he goes and lives somebody somewhere else. That is known as ashram, brahmachari ashram. So he may be able to give up that also. But uh, when he has to take sannyas, so at that time he is completely freed from all attachment. If he has not developed any other attachment during his ashram life, because attachment may also, yeah, one may get attached to followers, fan following, and facilities, name, fame, facilities, and all these things. There's possibility. Just like Bharat Maharaj, she left everything. He left his most beautiful wives, queens. He was emperor of entire earth, so he must be having so many beautiful wives and so many children, so many means citizens, ministers, always glorifying him. So he immediately left everything. And he left it? Malavat. Malavat means just like we go in the morning to pass a stool, and after passing a stool, we never look back. We just pass and just go ahead. We never remember. Na? So immediately, similarly, Bharat Maharaj also, because he was situated in the stage of Bhava for Krishna. He was already in that stage, very high elevated stage, because he was son of Rishabdev Maharaj. Rishabdev Maharaj, incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Uh, So he was the eldest son, very dear son, a disciple of Rishabdev Maharaj. He received all the mercy of Rishabdev. So, so he could give up all these things, like Malvat, passing his stool, entire kingdom, earthly kingdom. In our case, we are unable to give up even a small job of some 70, 80,000 rupees. But Bharat Maharaj left entire kingdom. Just imagine, such a big sacrifice. But when he was just engaged in chanting Hare Krishna all the time in the forest, so he became attached to a deer. वही तो कैसे यही तो बात है. दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ माया का कितना ये सुंदरता है ना कि कितने सारे अटैचमेंट को छोड़ छाड़ के चला गया और एक छोटे से डियर से अटैच हो गया. हाँ. इसलिए वन हैज टू ऑलवेज बी वेरी केयरफुल. कोई ये नहीं सोच सकता है अरे मैंने तो ये सब छोड़ दिया है, इसको भी छोड़ दिया, उसको भी छोड़ दिया। हाँ, तो इसे इसे हाँ ठीक है, इससे तो मैं क्या अटैच हूँ? नो, इफ यू कम इन कांटेक्ट, इफ यू गिव टाइम, then there is possibility you will become attached, just like Bharat Maharaj, because he kept that deer, small deer, and always at his side. So he was always remembering, always looking after that deer. So gradually, over the period of time, he became very attached to that deer. और जब वो भजन करते थे हरे कृष्णा तो देखते रहते थे, वो कहाँ गए, डियर किधर गई? ओ माय डियर डियर, पहले बोलते थे हरे कृष्णा, ओ माय डियर कृष्णा, प्लीज एक्सेप्ट मी, प्लीज गिव मी शेल्टर एट योर लोटस फीट। अभी हरे कृष्णा तो जब कर रहा है, बट ओ माय डियर डियर वेयर आर यू, ऑलवेज थिंकिंग अबाउट द डियर, इवन इन द ड्रीम द डियर यूज टू कम। हाँ, ड्रीम में भी वो क्या डियर ड्रीम करते थे कि डियर को कोई लेके चला गया, मेरे डियर डियर को कोई लेके चला गया, उसको कोई नुकसान हो गया, उसका मृत्यु हो गया, ये सब सपने में आते थे। So that is, so although he was engaged in chanting Hare Krishna, but still his mind was there on the deer. So his dearmost object from the heart left, कुछ और आ गया, और इसलिए at the time of death he remembered that deer and became the deer. हाँ, भाव के स्टेज में होने पे भी, so you have to इसलिए तुमको क्या करना था, वो डियर को छोड़ देना चाहिए था, भले अटैचमेंट था, वो डियर जब चली जाती तो कुछ दिन तक रहता अटैचमेंट, फिर निकल जाता, फिर हरे कृष्णा मस्त कर सकते थे। इसीलिए सिमिलरली, if in the course of our advancement in Krishna consciousness, sometimes we may get attached to something, somebody, something or somebody, anything. तो हम, so we should be very careful. हमको ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए अरे मैंने तो इससे अच्छी अच्छी चीजों को छोड़ के आ गया मैं। नो, दिस माया इज वेरी पावरफुल, जस्ट लाइक ब्रह्मचारी आश्रम में कोई आता है तो बड़े बड़े पोस्ट पोजीशन को छोड़ देता है, यूपीएससी आईएएस ये सब के चांसेस होते हैं, वो सब छोड़ दिया, लेकिन इधर आकर के एक छोटा सा कुछ डिपार्टमेंट मिल जाता है, 10 8 10 डिवोटीज का, उसको मैनेज करने के लिए, तो उससे अटैच हो जाता है। और फिर उसको छोड़ नहीं पाता है। प्रिंसिपल क्या है, हमेशा ये प्रोपेंसिटी रहेगी टू गेट अटैच टू समथिंग, तो वी शुड नेवर मीन्स अंडर एस्टिमेट द पोटेंशियल ऑफ माया। ये अंडर एस्टिमेट नहीं करना चाहिए, ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि मैंने तो इससे इससे और अट्रैक्टिव अट्रैक्टिव चीजों को या व्यक्तियों को मैं ऐसे छोड़ के आ गया, इससे क्या अटैच, हाँ, लेकिन हो सकते हैं, देयर इज पॉसिबिलिटी, पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं, तो हो ही जाते हैं। कैसे हो जाते हैं, बस एक ही चीज करना, यू जस्ट गिव टाइम, अटेंशन, यू गिव अटेंशन, दैट विल कम इनटू योर हार्ट। हाँ, जैसे सिंपल मोबाइल का, सपोज किसी के पास आईफोन है, आपके पास आईफोन है ना, तो आप आईफोन से भी अटैच है, आईफोन को आप छोड़ दीजिए और ये सिंपल नोकिया का मोबाइल रखिए, आफ्टर फ्यू डेज यू विल गेट अटैच टू नोकिया मोबाइल। हाँ, जो है ये नोकिया मोबाइल भी 2 4 घंटे के लिए चला जाएगा, तो आपको लगेगा किधर है मेरा मोबाइल, किधर है मेरा मोबाइल, किधर है, समझ में आ रहा है? So this attachment factor is so powerful. अटैचमेंट फैक्टर, ए फैक्टर, ये तीसरा फैक्टर बता रहा हूँ। ये जो जितने भी फैक्टर्स हैं, तो ये फैक्टर के साथ बहुत सारी चीजें जुड़ी हैं, तो जैसे ये फैक्टर बोला जाए तो वो सारी चीजें याद आनी चाहिए। के फैक्टर मतलब कृष्णा फैक्टर, डब्ल्यू फैक्टर है, ए फैक्टर, ए फैक्टर मतलब डजेंट मैटर व्हाट द ऑब्जेक्ट इज, हु द पर्सन इज, व्हाट द सिचुएशन इज, व्हाट द पोजिशन इज, हाउ इनसिग्निफिकेंट इट मे बी, if you are not careful, if you give time, then you will get attached to it, and then you will lose Krishna. That is for sure. If you get attached to anybody, anything, then surely in this life you are losing Krishna. Next birth again, come again, try again. हाँ, इसलिए प्रभुपाद जी एक लेक्चर में बोलते थे, उसमें मुझे समझ में नहीं आता था, सुना था लेकिन समझ में नहीं आता था, अभी बाद में फिर धीरे धीरे हमें रियलाइज हो रहा है कि यस दिस इज पॉसिबल। प्रभुपाद जी बोलते हैं कि हस्बैंड, शी इज अटैच्ड टू हिज वाइफ, डजेंट मैटर उसका वाइफ कैसा होता है, उसे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, इवन इफ द वाइफ इज अगलीस्ट वुमेन इन द अर्थ, स्टिल हस्बैंड के लिए वो वाइफ ही से अटैचमेंट होगा। हाँ, प्रभुपाद जी एग्जाम्पल देते हैं कि देर आर मिलियंस ऑफ वुमेन लॉटरिंग इन द स्ट्रीट, बट A person who has connection with his wife, he feels, oh, she is my wife, she is so dear, I have to take care of her, and he is always thinking about her. Huh? And that same affection or attachment for wife sometimes is turned into quarrel and so-called hatredness. But actually, there is no quarrel hatred. That is attachment only, sign of affection and attachment. One becomes attached to it. That's why it is recommended. Best practice, best recommendation is that one should not get married. If somebody has the opportunity to not get married, one should not get married because definitely one will get attached to his wife and children. Then children also, wife and then children. And especially for children, one cannot give up attachment. That's not at all possible. Especially a father gets attached to his daughter. He cannot give up. And mother gets attached to his son. छोड़ ही नहीं सकते. And the son becomes attached to mother as long as there's no wife. And after getting wife, the attachment is shifted towards something else. हाँ, मैं अपनी मदर को बोला कि देखो आपके दोनों बच्चों ने आपको धोखा दे दिया है. नाउ यू गिव अप अटैचमेंट. तो मेरी मदर तो रोने लगे, बोले पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, नहीं हो सकता है. बोला ठीक है, तो रहो अटैच, अभी क्या कर सकते हैं. मैं हाँ, तो जिससे हम अटैच होंगे वो जहां जाएगा वो वहीं पे जाना पड़ेगा आपको. तो अगर मैं शुद्ध भक्त नहीं बना, मैं मौकेदार नहीं गया, तो आपको भी इधर ही रहना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. तो दैट्स व्हाई यू गेट अटैच टू योर गुरु महाराज प्रभुपाद एंड कृष्ण. और वो पॉसिबल नहीं क्योंकि समय नहीं व्यतीत किया. समय तो जिसके साथ व्यतीत किया उसके साथ अटैचमेंट विकसित हो जाता है. So if you want to overcome other attachments or attachment for somebody else, something else, then you start investing your time with devotees and Krishna. Then you will get attached to devotees and Krishna. सिंपल अटैचमेंट का प्रिंसिपल. इसलिए ए फैक्टर, अटैचमेंट फैक्टर, याद रखिए कि यू कैन ओवरकम एनी अटैचमेंट इफ यू डोंट फीड इट, एंड यू कैन डेवलप अटैचमेंट फॉर समथिंग एल्स इफ यू जस्ट गिव टाइम एंड फीड. ये अटैचमेंट फैक्टर. So ultimately, nobody is attached to anything else, anybody else. Everyone is attached to his own sense gratification. That's why जिसके साथ जहाँ पे जिस वक्त वस्तु होती है, व्यक्ति होती है, जिसके साथ हम समय व्यतीत करते हैं, उससे अटैचमेंट डेवलप हो जाता है. So it may take some time to overcome those attachment, but that will eventually go away if we just uh, make distance and we develop attachment for Krishna and his devotees and service to Krishna. That is possible. So it's not affected by good and evil because he's simply concerned. If you simply become concerned with Krishna, simply become concerned for Krishna, then you can become unaffected by this good and evil. So Krishna, who is all good absolute. So सोचो अगर इस संसार के थर्ड क्लास चीजों से, थर्ड क्लास व्यक्ति से अटैचमेंट हो सकता है, so Krishna, who is all good, why we will not become get attached to him? हाँ, आप बोलेंगे फिर क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा है. दैट इज बिकॉज वी हैव स्टिल इन आवर हार्ट कंटेमिनेशन. जब तक कृष्ण का अटैचमेंट, कृष्ण के प्रति अटैचमेंट डेवलप करने के लिए एक रिक्वायरमेंट है. ऐशाम तो अंत गतम पापम, भजन्ते माम दृढ़व्रता. जिसका पाप हृदय से नष्ट होगा वही कृष्ण से अटैच हो सकता है. अब बाकी इस संसार में देखो, किसी से अटैच होना है ना, तो जितना पाप होगा उतना अटैच हो जाएंगे आप. इससे क्या पता चलता है? यू गेट अटैच टू समथिंग, समबडी, if you have sinful desire. But if you have pure desire, heart is pure, then only you will get attached to Krishna. The process is, the more you perform sadhana very intensely, by chanting of the holy name of Krishna and by hearing about Krishna, your heart gets purified, and then gradually you can develop attachment to Krishna. That is possible. So such consciousness in Krishna situates one in a perfect transcendental position called technically samadhi. इसी को समाधि बोला गया है. Developing attachment for Krishna completely, that is samadhi. यह समाधि, इसी को टेक्निकल समाधि बोला जाता है. ये श्लोक में यही शिक्षा मिलती है. यह सर्वत्र अनअविस्नेह, समय हो गया. ओ, यह सर्वत्र अनअविस्नेह, जो हर तरफ से अनअविस्नेह हो जाता है, अनअटैच हो जाता है. ना भी नंदती ना दोषी तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच. हरे कृष्ण.